Vayetze Yaakov miBe'er Sheva. These are the words that begin our Torah portion this week. Vayetze Yaakov miBe'er Sheva, and Jacob left Be'er Sheva. This is the verse that begins the exile that Jacob, through his mother, is imposing upon himself because, if you remember the story, he deceived his brother of his firstborn rights and then deceived his father with the support of his mother, deceived his blind father, Isaac, to giving him his blessing instead of bestowing his blessing to the firstborn son, which was Esau. And he disguises himself so that his blind father Isaac would not recognize that he is actually instead of his brother Esau. Although Isaac seems to recognize his voice, Jacob is wearing coats made of sheepskin to make him smell like his brother, so that Isaac would doubt who is in front of him since he can't see. Vayetze Yaakov, Jacob left. But the Hebrew word vayetze, actually is much more multi-layered, multi-dimensional in Hebrew than the straight translation in English renders. Left or departed. You can see either one of those translations in different Torah books. But the Hebrew itself, vayetze, expresses a very much a more radical kind of departure. Jacob doesn't just leave, packs his bags and leaves. First of all, he flees for his life because he believes that Esau wanted to kill him for having done what he did to him, and he was right. So that's why for me the word leaves or depart, it's not exactly what is conveyed in the intensity of that moment. He just doesn't just leave his life behind. Vayetze, that word hints at the idea that he actually takes himself completely out of this life that he knew up until that moment, that he divorces himself from that life that he had known up until that very moment. He extricates himself both from his physical birthplace, the tent where he grew up, and also obviously from his roots. Rashi writes, commenting on that word vayetze, that the departure of a person from a place makes an imprint. And that imprint is a blank space, an emptiness, the silence of an absence. Now, of course, in Torah, the narrator follows Jacob and his continuing adventures. We know nothing of the silence that he lives behind. We know nothing of the emptiness. We know nothing of the devastation in the wake of his extricating himself from the tents of his family. I wondered this week as I was reading this passage again, I wondered what happened after Jacob left. How did his family deal with the trauma of what had just transpired? As Isaac's family shattered by lies and betrayal, I wonder, did Esau, I mean, we knew that he wanted to kill his brother, but did Esau ever talk to his mother after what she did? Did Esau ever forgive his father for his misplaced blessing? Did Isaac himself ever forgive Rebekah for what she did? Rebekah is like a bull in a china shop, destroying everything around her by pushing Jacob to blow up their family because she heard a voice within that told her it was the way to fulfill God's promise. And I wondered, that blessing, that divine blessing, what is the cost of this divine blessing that God gave Abraham? I mean, if you follow the stories of our patriarchs and matriarchs, is this really a blessing or is it more like a curse for what it pushed our forefathers and mothers to do to each other in pursuit of fulfilling this blessing or this curse? But overall, what this moment in Isaac and his family's life lifted up for me is the profound teaching of impermanence. Impermanence. You know impermanence? Impermanence is the one constant, paradoxically. Like Isaac, we wake up one morning knowing life would unfold a certain way, but one person makes a different decision and all that you knew falls apart. Gam ze ya'avor, this too shall pass, says the Hebrew meditation mantra. Gam ze ya'avor, this too shall pass. Everything always changes. Impermanence. We try to protect ourselves from impermanence. We build massive traditions, cycles of life rituals. Our everyday lives are built on a series of habits that we cling to give us a sense, false as it may be, of some kind of permanence. But there are too many people around us, too many entities and organizations, all making decisions for themselves that continuously throw this yearn-for sense of permanence into question. Impermanence. Everything and everyone always changing. Always changing. I find myself on this Shabbat like the blind Isaac of our story. I too thought life was going to unfold the beautiful way I had imagined, contemplating the glorious full years of my life ahead. The years of aging and saging, as Reb Zalman Schachter Shalomi once put it in one of those wonderful books he wrote. The blessing had been bestowed. And the children, my children, were carrying the torch forward in their own life, now away from home, in college and then post-college. And Rebekah and I, my Rebekah and I, would finally find each other again in the empty tents of our ongoing life wanderings together. But my Rebekah is living too. my Rebecca is living too. Nothing has happened. Life has found the two of us at a crossroad I didn't even know was there. And my partner of nearly 30 years will be traveling down a different path moving forward. We have filed the paperwork and we are dividing the stuff. And we are doing all of it with all the love and compassion in the world. We love each other deeply, and we care for each other. We had vowed and written in our ketubah, our wedding declaration, that we would support each other's growth and fulfillment through our marriage. And I am staying true to those marital vows by letting her go with my most loving blessing. Our marriage is not a failed marriage. It is a successful marriage. It has brought us great happiness, incredible children, and has shaped and transformed both of us into the beautiful beings that we have become. But for one of us, this part of the journey has ended. Vatetse mi Be'ersheva. One of us is extricating herself from our tents. And because there is so much love and care between us, this has been extremely painful for both of us. And that's how you know, isn't it? Pain, sorrow, brokenheartedness are the barometers of the love that connects us. This is a profound loss, of course. These past few months have marked the start of a long period of mourning and grieving process for me. And it has felt, to be honest, it has felt to me like the 5 stages of mourning are happening all at once every day. Though I've long moved past the bargaining stage, you could find me on any given day moving through the deep, overwhelming sadness of depression, followed by anger or denial, or even acceptance, and then back to sadness, anger, denial, depression, and acceptance, all unraveling me on a quasi-hourly basis. I'm sharing all of this with you tonight because you would have learned about it soon enough anyways. And I didn't want any of this to feed the rumor mill. Amy and I are still very close, and it is our intention to continue to hold each other with love, deep respect, and compassion as our relationship evolves toward what I hope will be a lifelong friendship. We both ask that you respect our privacy. In Jewish tradition, when invited into a house of mourning, one of the rules is that one is not supposed to address the mourner unless the mourner addresses them first. I'd like to invite you to respect this tradition. Of course, we both welcome your words of support and love, but we ask that you please respect our grieving. Yitzchak Avinu for Father Isaac. Though the Torah never talks about what happened to you, who remain engulfed in the devastation of Beersheba, I know your pain and your broken hearts today. I sit with you, quiet, in the empty tent. After the great conflagration, Rashi too knew the pain of your loss when he wrote about you, when he wrote about me, and about so many of us. That the departure of a person from a place makes an imprint. And that imprint is a blank space, an emptiness, the silence of an absence. And so it is. Amen.
ביתנו התינוקת שמור אלי הטוב על האש המבוערת על המים הזכים על האיש השב הביתה מהמחכים על כל
Can we have the camera on here? Thank you.
Tishka Sato